Okay, save your files. Make sure you save your files every now and then. No? You can do a control S. Hanggang 11:15 lang pala tayo ngayon. I forgot, akala ko 12 o'clock. Nga pala tayo nag-start. Okay. I have my daily dose of Coke. All right. So we're gonna this other exercise. Maylord, we can ano na lang. You can continue it and then just turn it in tomorrow before the end of the shift. Before the start of our next session. Okay. All right. Diba? Ang saya-saya. We're so busy. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen and we're going to discuss or I'll demonstrate lang a new tool. No? So, but before that, no, let me just quickly do a recap because some of you encountered this. So let's say I have 3 objects. Okay, so I have 3 objects and I group them, no? And then you wanted to copy just these 2. You want to remove this. Okay, so you copied, hold down Alt or Option on a Mac, right? Wait, let me move my webcam. There. Okay, so I copied, no? So hold down Alt. Okay, remember when it comes to selections, if you're moving things around, make sure that you have the object selected and you click in the middle, click drag in the middle of the object. Or basta selected lang yung object na yun, and then you drag. Okay, to be able to move it. Alright. Now, let's say I want to remove this, no? Double click on it. Pag nakita nyo na medyo naging translucent or naging parang faded yung color niya, it means you're in isolation. Another indicator that you're in an isolation mode, okay, so that's the word or the term, isolation mode. Maybe tomorrow in the review it will appear. No? You'll notice this, no, that you're actually inside a group set of objects, no? So this will allow you to select individual objects, okay? Then just hit delete, no? If you've already selected the object, and then you can click outside, double click outside, para you exit, no? You can also do this, no? Click on this arrow, it shows back 1 level. So it go and then click here again. Yan. So, babalik ka sa dati, sa normal mode. Alright. Now, some of you also were struggling a bit, no, dun sa triangle, no? So, let's say I created the triangle using the polygon tool. Okay. Alright. And then you want to move at least this point. Okay. So this is where we try, at least Sophia and Maylord, no, tried it. Hindi, pati si Sister Pinky pala, nagamit na rin natin tong white arrow, which is called the direct selection tool. Okay, so the direct selection tool allows you to select a particular point to edit. Okay, so yun ang difference ni black arrow versus the white arrow. So the black arrow allows you to select an entire object or a group of objects. No, you can resize using the bounding box, whereas your direct selection tool allows you to select a point. So if I click in the middle, it selects all 3 points that we see there. Those are non-printable points. Alright? But if I click here, be mindful, no? Medyo irritating lang with Illustrator is it's so small. Sometimes it's not that visible. But when you click on a particular point, this is where you zooming in would come in handy, no, when you zoom in. If I click on this point, no, if I'm successful in selecting just this point, if I take a look at the other points available here, okay, ito is white. It means it's a hollow box, so it's not selected. Whereas this one is actually selected. So if I click drag on this point, it will only move that point. Okay? Pero pag ito, sinelect mo tong point na to, i-resize. Right? If I click drag here, yan, nakikita mo lagi, the bounding box, this is called the bounding box, which allows you to rotate, resize, no? We'll just move the object around. Okay. So now that we've become familiar with the shape tools, no? When you zoom in, no, this is not a good example, ellipse, no? When you zoom in, okay, again, it creates a very fine line. So you don't see yung mga pixelation, you don't see small squares, no, that comprises the object. But rather, this is what you call the vector graphic, okay, or vector graphics or images. All right. Now, when you create a shape, no, when you create a shape, so ano-ano ba ang parts ng shape, okay? If we're talking about vector graphics. So you have points, no? I'll use the direct selection tool again. You have points, no? So this is called an anchor point. Sometimes it's just called a point, no? The line that is created between 2 points is called a line segment. Okay. Now this kind of shape, no, all the shapes here except for line. Okay. So ayan. Itong shapes na to. There are all these 3 shapes. These are called paths. Okay. These are called paths. Now there are 2 types of paths. There's an open path and a closed path. So what's the difference between the two? So let me click here, no? Ito yung fill natin, no? It's an active color. Ito yung stroke natin. If you want to remove, sorry. If I want to go back to the default fill and stroke, which is white for the fill, and then yung outline natin is black, I just merely select the object and then click on this. Okay, so it creates that, it colors the stroke as black. Okay, this is called a closed path. But if you create something, no, like itong pen tool natin. Ayan, so I click on a blank space to create points. All right. Okay. So this is called an open path. Okay. So this is a closed path and this is an open path. Okay. What is the difference between the two? Visually, ano yung nakikita natin? Sophia?
The black line is not like finished.
Correct. So the black line is not finished. So that's the only difference, no? So again, this is a closed path. This is an open path. Why is it important? Depending on the artwork that you're trying, or the visuals that you're trying to achieve, no, it's critical to understand how the paths work. Kasi dito, ang pwedeng mangyari is if, let's say, I stretch it, no? Okay. Ayan. Okay. So, if I stretch it a bit, no, makita mo, visibly, nawawala yung black line natin dito. Sometimes, if you have very irregular shapes and you have an open path, nagsisplash or nagsispill over yung fill color. Okay. So, it's a useful information to remember. Okay. So, you have your closed path, you have your open path. All right. Now, if let's say I have this open path, no, can I actually convert it to a closed path? Can I actually add a line? Yes. And that's where your pen tool comes in. And later we'll actually have, naku, we only have pala 30 minutes. We'll cover this even more, no, and in detail when we start discussing the pen basics. Okay, so now we'll proceed to this exercise. Here we will simply introduce a new tool which is called the Shape Builder tool. So this is what the icon looks like. Okay, and then the keyboard shortcut is Shift M. M for Mary. So when you mouse over naman again, you get to see the keyboard shortcut. All right. So this. All right. So what we want to achieve is this. Okay. So you will create this logo by merging shapes. So the Shape Builder tool, its function is mainly to either merge or remove certain parts of overlapping shapes. Okay. So I'd start off with maybe this first. It's the same naman, so I'll just move it here. Okay. Next is we'll create this shape. No, itong line na to. Alright. And for me to be able to achieve this, I need a combination of two objects, which is the rectangular shape and the ellipse shape. Okay? So I can achieve this. Alright? So you don't have to do it talagang from scratch. No? So I'll select these two objects and then use the Shape Builder tool. This will just take probably a few seconds of your time. Click drag. So pag nag-mouse over tayo, no? Dun sa selected objects, no? You'll see ito, yan yung parang dotted screen, no? And then your mouse shows a plus sign. Ibig sabihin, it will merge the objects. Okay? So when I click drag, tada! Ayan na siya. Okay. And then I just use the selection tool. Click drag it here. Okay. Our next piece is this eye. Okay. So we will use two ellipse shapes. Pero, do we use this? Sige, select ko both objects, no? So, again, this is the part, no? Itong eye na to, itong outer part, yung outline ng eye. So, I select both. It's not this part, it's not this part, but it's actually this part, yung middle part, right? So what I'll do is with the two objects selected, I use the Shape Builder tool, but this time, instead of merging, kasi if you don't hit anything on the keyboard and then you simply click and drag, no? Ganyan na mangyari kasi i-merge niya eh, right? What you want to do is remove this and remove this. And to do that, no, hold down Alt. Kaya ito, use the Shape Builder tool as is, or you add the Alt key. So hold down Alt, then what happens to our cursor? There's a minus sign. Okay, so we click here, it removes that part. Then you click here, it removes that part. Then we can move na this part using the selection tool over here. Okay, all right. Now, we'll need this, of course, so we'll just move this circle over here. Okay, and then we'll need yung moon shape. All right, so I'll zoom in here. select both. So which part do we actually need here? It's this one, no? Yung shape ng moon. So I can hold down Alt, click, remove it. Hold down Alt ulit, click here. Ayan na yung moon natin. Right? There you go. Then we'll just move it here. Ta-da! That's it. So, does it look right? Not yet, no? So, let's take a look at this, no? So, manipis yung stroke niya, no? Yung thickness of the black color, no? So, we select this. We can play around with the width of the stroke. So, we select this, and then on top of your, on your control bar, no, on top, you'll see the word stroke. Then you can use the up and down arrows to change the thickness of your stroke. Ayan. So, ninipisan natin. Same din dito. So, try natin nipisan. Tada! And then, you can save. Look at the moon. Parang mas mataba siya. It's fatter than this one. No? So maybe I can try if I take a look at this. No? So you have a white fill and then the stroke is black. So I may want to try removing the stroke color. Okay. So make sure that you click on this para it's on top. So whatever you make change, whatever change you make in terms of the color, it will apply dun sa stroke. If you want to remove the stroke color, no, with this active or on top, you can click on none para tumaba siya. Okay, so you don't have a stroke applied to the object. All right, and then you can save your file. Okay, any questions so far? None? Easy?
Wala na po.
Okay. Sige. So, we have about 6 minutes. 6 minutes talaga. 10 minutes. So, I'll give you 10 minutes to play around. You may want to, baka kasi biglang, magkamali kayo. Gusto nyong i-copy muna all those shapes. The raw shapes for that exercise. Copy it somewhere else. So, you can select everything. Copy, Command or Control C, and then paste it somewhere else. Maybe here. Ay? What happened? Ay, dun siya nag-copy. Yan, there. Okay. And then you start working on it. Para pag nagkamali kayo, just in case lang. If undo doesn't work, then at least you can go back to this files or elements. Yan, okay. So our next topic, kaya we only have 12 minutes left. Hindi, okay pa. Okay pa to. So let me just share my screen. Under drawing basics. Okay. All right. So I'll add some notes, important notes about our exercises today, specifically yung drawing shapes, So I'm sharing notes here. Okay, yung mga things that we demonstrated. Okay, so like some shape tools would have the corner widgets to convert or change the corners to curves. Yung shift drag, So you can read through this later on. And then yung mga selection tools, it's described here. So we tried selection tool as well as the direct selection tool. So later on, we'll continue working on those or utilizing them. Okay, so a good reading. So I'm adding the comment here under basic shapes. No. Now we'll continue with the pen tool basics. Okay. So if you go to your Google Classroom, no, you should see this. Click on this link. There's a video. No need to get this because I already prepared it for you. It's this one. No, make sure you download the pentool.ai. Click this and then watch this video. Okay. So this takes, I think, yeah, it's 7 minutes, almost 7 minutes long. No, after this, naku, wala na tayong oras pala. After this, then we'll reconvene. Let's do a quick recap of what we've watched, and then we'll proceed to demonstrating the exercise. In case we're not able to finish, we'll do a hard stop naman kasi if in case we don't get to finish today, I strongly recommend that you do this as your working assignment. If you're having struggles, we might skip the review session, but instead, we'll continue with the pen tool. Okay, kasi we're just delayed with the exercise. Eh. Ang gusto nating ma-achieve is this. Yes, the big one. This one. Okay, so out of the video. Sister, did you watch this?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
All right. So I'll give you 7 minutes to watch this, and then let's reconvene, discuss before we officially end. No, so demo tayo, and then start off with the exercise. People or students who can finish it during the day, you may submit or turn in Google Classroom. Okay. So let's start watching the video. Teka. Let's test it with my anak kasi parang minsan nagpapangit yung audio niya. Let's see if we can watch it together. Okay.
Basics of drawing paths with the pen tool by tracing a series of
Can
In
you
this
hear?
video, you'll explore
Yeah.
the basics of drawing paths with the pen tool by tracing a series of templates you see here. So with Illustrator open, open this file from the practice files if you want to follow along. Now make sure you can see everything. Choose View, Fit All in Window. You can see the final artwork down here. You'll learn the pen tool by drawing some of these shapes using the templates you see. You'll start by drawing this one. To zoom into that artboard, choose one from the Active Artboard menu in the Properties panel. Now you'll turn off the Smart Guides so the artwork won't snap and Smart Guides won't show, which could be a distraction as you learn. So make sure this Smart Guides option is turned off. Select the pen tool in the Tools panel on the left. And now you'll set the fill and stroke colors before drawing so you can see the template path as you draw. In the Properties panel on the right, click the fill color and apply none to remove it. Change the stroke weight to 1 if it isn't already, and click the stroke color and make sure it's black. Now, if you take a look at the pen tool pointer, it has an asterisk next to it, which means you're about to create a new path. So in a blank area out here, click and release to start a path and make an anchor point. Then move the pointer and you'll see this rubber band or preview of what the path will look like if you were to click. So move the pointer over, click and release. To stop drawing, press the escape key and you've just created a line. So let's practice a little bit by drawing these teeth. Starting here on point 1, click and release to start a path. Then click point 2, release the mouse. Then click point 3, release. Keep clicking and releasing on each point. After clicking and releasing on point 9, move the pointer over the first point at 1. When the pointer is over the original anchor point and a circle shows next to it, click to close the path and stop drawing. When you create paths, whether with the pen tool or not, you set anchor points where you want the path to do something different, like change direction or add a curve. You can also use the pen tool to create curves, and this is where it can get really fun. To switch artboards, choose two antenna from the artboard navigation menu down here. In a blank area, click and release to create a new anchor and start a path. Move the pointer over, then press and drag to create a curve. You'll find that the more you drag, the more curve the path has. Release the mouse button. The handles you see coming off of both sides of the anchor point are for editing the curve of the path. They're sort of like magnets pulling on the path. To stop drawing, press Escape. Now you draw a curved path using what you just learned. So starting at point 1, click and release to make an anchor. Now to curve the path, press and drag on point 2 to make a curve, but don't release the mouse button yet. The further you drag from the anchor point, the bigger the curve is. The handle down here controls the path before the anchor, and the handle up here controls the path after the anchor point. Drag until the path before the anchor point looks like the template path, then release. If you make a mistake, you can always choose Edit, Undo Pen, and simply redraw the last anchor point. You'll also find that paths you draw this way can be easily edited later using other tools. So don't worry if the path doesn't follow the template exactly. Press and drag on point 3. Drag until the path before the anchor point looks like the template, then release. Press and drag on point 4, and release. Press and drag on point 5, and release. When you come to point 6, simply click and release. Now to stop drawing a path, press the Escape key. If you want to practice, you can pause the video and draw the antenna on the right. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. So now you'll draw another series of curves that look a little different. So choose 3 mouth from the artboard navigation menu down here. This time you'll start by drawing a curve so the path has a little bit more curve. So from point 1, press and drag to the right. Release when the handles look something like this. Then move to point 2, press and drag from point 2, making sure the path before the anchor point looks good, then release. Now if you move the pointer around, the path preview shows that the path would be a curve because of this direction handle. But we need a path to completely change direction at this anchor. So you can split direction handles so they go in different directions and create a corner. Move the pointer over the end of this handle, press Option on Mac or Alt on Windows, and drag to split the handles. You want to drag in the general direction of where the path is going to go next down here. And the longer you make this direction handle, the more curve the next part of the path will have. Release the mouse and then the key. Knowing where to drag the direction handles and how far to drag them out will just take practice, don't worry. Now press and drag from point 3 to make sure the path before looks good, and release. Now the next path needs to be straight. So to do that, you can remove this direction handle so it doesn't curve the path after the anchor. Click back on the anchor point to remove the handle on this side of the anchor. Then come to point 4, click and release. Now the next part of the path needs to be curved. So you need a direction handle to control this part of the path. To pull out a direction handle, press and drag from the point and drag it roughly up here. Come to point 5 and press and drag until the path before looks right, and then release. Now to split the handles so you can make a corner so it looks like this part of the path, press Option on Mac OS or Alt on Windows and drag the end of the handle down. Release the mouse and then the key. To close the path we're creating, move the pointer over the first anchor point you drew, and the pointer will show a circle next to it, which means if you click, the path will close. Press and drag from the original anchor point to the right until the path looks right, then release. To turn the Smart Guides back on for later lessons, choose View, Smart Guides. Drawing with the pen tool is going to take practice to feel comfortable. Don't worry about that. But if you keep practicing the techniques you've learned here, you'll definitely be on your way to mastering the basics of the pen tool.
Okay. And now that's it. We're gonna start with our exercise. Okay. So we started naman officially at 8:15. So we still have 15 minutes to go. So I can just go to down here now on the status bar where I can navigate through all the artboards. No, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. So the difference lang, what I did here was I wanted to also add on to the activity. No? I found that video very helpful, especially when demonstrating the pen tool. Kasi especially with online, no, I cannot just highlight what I'm doing. May mga critical points, and especially when he mentioned about direction handles, no, creating those curves. But with our exercise, what's gonna be different is that you're also going to create the cell phone, no, the green background, right? This shadow, okay. Also this one, no, will add hindi naman twist, no. Pero try
Are
to
you showing
recreate
us?
everything.
Are you showing us the screen?
Yes.
That
You can see it. Okay.
No.
There. Here. All right. There. Okay. So what's different is basically you will, by the end of the exercise, ang objective natin is to be able to create something like this. No, not just the antenna, not just the teeth, no, not just the mouth, no, but also the eye. Okay, this irregular shape, we're going to try and trace it. All right, try to mimic the colors or copy the colors using the eyedropper tool. So we already introduced the eyedropper tool earlier, right? So gagamitin din natin siya. No, so I think this is the best way to learn how to use the pen tool. Like what the explainer video was mentioning, no, it takes practice. This is not something that you can easily learn like overnight or be an expert using the pen tool. Ako personally, when I started, talagang shapes. Doon lang ako sa shapes, and then merge ko lang yung mga shapes na yon to come up with something that I want. And then eventually I started using the pen tool. And then once you get the hang of it, then you'll get way better results. No, even faster pa to do it using the pen tool. So before watching the video, right, we already demonstrated or showed na there's a difference between a closed path and an open path. And using the pen tool, again, ang behavior niya is using single click. Click muna, no? Click to create a point. And then when you create that second point, it creates this path or this line segment. So based on the exercise, all you have to do is follow the numbers. Right? So follow the numbers. When you mouse over, what was important to note based on that video is that when you mouse over an existing point and click on that, no, yung cursor natin will change. Meron siyang parang circle. Okay, yun know, yung circle na yun. It means that it will create a closed path for you. Okay, yan. And then, ano sabi niya? If you're actually starting a new point, no, a new path, no, our cursor using the pen tool, meron kang parang asterisk on the cursor. So that means it's gonna start a new path. When you mouse over ulit, no, on an existing path, you'll see a minus sign. Okay, so that means it will remove it. So be mindful of how your cursor looks like. Okay, so I click here, I click here, I click here. No? Now, what does our icon look like, yung cursor natin? Sophia, anong nakikita mo sa cursor? What
The
does it
arrow?
look like? Yes, the arrow. So that means na it's a convert anchor point that you can click, drag, okay, to create those direction handles. And these are non-printable. These are the ones that control or make the curves for you. Okay, yan. Alright. Ayan. Okay, yan. So, typically, graphic designers, if they're using or if they're already very comfortable with the pen tool, just like what the designer, demonstrated, no? Ang ginagawa niya is click, drag. Click, click, drag on the second point so that you'll have the direction handles and you'll see the curve. Okay, and then click drag a bit, click drag a bit, click drag a bit, and then here. Okay, and then hit escape to end, no? Para magsa-stop siya. It will not continue anymore, right? So, ganun ang exercise ng mga tao. A lot of beginners are having difficulties because visually, they cannot imagine how it actually looks like when you do a click drag, right? To come up with a particular shape. For me, the way I do it, especially when I was starting, was I simply click on these points. Okay, just to do that, no? All right. So let me and then hit escape para para I'll end the line there. Okay. Now there's a fill. Kaya tingnan mo to. Nag-stop yung gray, right? So I'll just remove the fill. Okay. So I'll select it. No? I'll select this drawing. Remove the fill. No? Select this one. And then click here. None. Alright. Para mas madaling mangopya. Okay. There. Now, I will try to create the curves. Dito papasok si anchor point tool. Okay. Previously, or in the older versions, it's called convert anchor point. So, it basically means that this tool will convert this point to a curve. So, I can switch over to this tool, convert anchor point, that's underneath the pen tool. Okay. And then I just click drag. Ayan. Click drag ulit. Para doon ako mag-a-adjust. Yan, no? Hold down Alt or Option. Kasi if you do it like this, no? You click drag lang. Click drag. Okay. When you click drag, notice yung direction handle, no? Sa opposite sides, sabay na nagsistretch, right? Yung sa baba and yung sa taas, right? If I do this, no, even the opposite side will do the same thing, right? If you want to stop this bottom part, no, from moving, okay, you hold down Alt or Option. Para it's just one side of the direction handle that moves. Okay. So you click drag. Yan siya. Alright. So you can create the antenna in two ways, right? The one that the graphic designer demonstrated in the video, or you do it the way I just did, which is just simply clicking on those numbers, no, and then use the convert anchor point or anchor point tool to click drag on each point to create the curves and control it there. Ang importante dyan would be yung Alt or Option. Okay? Alt or Option on your keyboard while dragging. That would allow you to just select half of the direction handles that control the curves. All right. Now, if you'll notice, it's almost, sige, click natin to, no? So, even with the direct selection tool, no? Click here, no? Every time you click on a point, no, if it's a curve, it will also allow you to display the direction handles. So, I can control it this way. Okay. So, notice almost the same naman tong side na to here, right? So, what I can do to make my life easier, no, I can select this entire antenna, use the reflect tool. Click somewhere in the middle, all right? Hold down Alt or Option, okay, to create a copy. So, nagbago yung cursor natin. Hold down Shift to constrain it to 90 degrees. Release, okay? So, ayan na siya. Kaysa gawin nyo pa ulit. Diba? Ang hassle. Yung trabaho naman. Right? So, yun. Okay. So, same din dito, no? For my students, normally, I just ask them to click on the numbers. You can do that. Okay. And then close it. So, again, when you mouse over, may circle, that means na it's going to close the path. Alright, close the path. Then I switch again dun sa anchor point tool, no? Or do the Shift C, no? That's the shortcut key. So I can just start clicking and dragging, no? So hold down Alt ulit kasi ito lang yung gusto kong i-adjust. Yeah. Click here. Click drag. Click drag, release. Hold down Alt again, then click drag. So, pwedeng ganyan. Hold down this, and click drag. Click, hold down Alt, click drag. Para ito lang yung, wala. So, hold down Alt, click drag. Yan. Alright. I'll click here. Hold on. Click here. Hold down Alt or Option. Yan. Okay. So, once nabuo na natin tong all three, no? All three sets, no? Then we can continue here, no? So, what is this artwork that we have to copy? Okay. So, always, if we're talking about stacking order, anong shape ang nasa likod? What color? Sophia?
Green.
Green, right? So we can start with a rectangular shape. Use this artboard, the blank one. This white artboard, no? So yeah, no? And then, if I want to copy the exact same color, what tool do I use? Maylord. Hello, Maylord?
Eyedropper. Eyedropper po.
Correct, eyedropper. So let's click on the eyedropper. No? So copy na natin siya. Then next is, if we're talking about the stacking order, what would be next after this? Ano yung pwedeng nasa likod din? After nitong green. Sister, what do you think? Which part of the
Black rectangle.
The black rectangle. Yes, it can be the black rectangle. So we'll use the rectangle tool ulit, no? This one is locked, so you can't move it. So you can actually trace over it, okay? So we'll click drag here. And then make corner widgets siya, right? So we can just use this to curve. Yan. So, muna hindi naman kailangan masyadong perfect. So, somewhere in the middle probably. Yung my smart guides is telling me na nag-intersect yung center. So, I'll stop here. Okay. Then again, like what Maylord mentioned, I can use this. Right? And then you have, what's the next kind of shape? It's this one, right? Yung inner part. Yeah. So, let's move this, create this. Okay. All right. Alright, so it's here. Okay. Now, anong napansin natin? So what can we apply here to achieve this look? We
Outline.
can outline, yes, but I'm thinking more of what we can do with these two shapes to achieve this look.
Compound.
Correct, compound. So we select these two, no? So yung mga natututunan natin kanina, na-apply rin natin. Right, so yan, compound. Then next would be, maybe we can just complete this shape, no? So eto meron siyang, ano ba? Anong tawag dyan? Touch button. Hindi ko alam. Yan. So you have a button somewhere in the middle, right? Hold down shift para perfect circle. So we'll put it there. Use the eyedropper tool. Click here. Okay. Maybe let's make it a bit smaller. All right. So I will keep on adding to it, right? When you keep on adding and moving things around, chances are, like ito, kunyari, i-move ko, no? Pwedeng ma-select mo yung, pati yung background, ma-move din yung green na background, no? So you may want to lock certain parts of the artwork. Like for example, the background, you want it fixed para when you move around, it also doesn't move around. So what you can do is lock it in the layers panel. Okay, but I'll do the shortcut. So I select this object, the green background, and then Command or Control 2. So that's a useful command. So if I click here, click drag, wala, hindi siya mag-move. Okay. Next is you have the shadow. So ganun din, mag-a-add ka rin dito, no? So we'll add the shadow. Okay, so we'll add the shadow in. So I'll use the pen tool. Maybe I can use the pen tool. It's easier. So I can do this. Hide here. Here. And then here. Hindi perfect just for the sake of lang. Showing it. Okay. So you can move this somewhere here. Okay. And then copy the color again, eyedropper. Alright. Ngayon, ang pangit niya, right? So, technically, ang shadow is nasa likod ng cellphone. Okay? So, what I can do is select the cellphone, right-click, arrange, and then bring to front. Right? So, I think that was our exercise yesterday, mga arrange, no? Bring to front, bring to back, right? So, a-apply natin yun here. Okay, so there's your shadow. Then you work on the next object if we're trying to visualize the stacking order, no? Itong nasa likod. Nasa likod. So I can use the pen tool. Try the click drag motion. This will take time, guys. So don't worry about it. And it doesn't have to be super perfect. Okay, and then I'll close it. So I'll put it somewhere in the middle. Does it have to be perfect na kailangan pati yung ilalim nito? Hindi naman. Simply because you're gonna put the monster anyway on top of it, right? So what's just gonna be critical would be this piece that's visible. So that's why it's uneven for me, no? And then use the eyedropper ulit to copy it, okay? Then you start working on the other elements, right? So at least, you know, yung very critical when you take a look at an artwork that you wish to copy, no? Just as an exercise, even after the class, always think about the stacking order. Kasi it will help you be more efficient when it comes to working in Illustrator, okay? So for me, the next step I would take would be these waves. So you can again use the pen tool. So you can use the pen tool. Then pwede nyo na rin dayain. So ito na lang, ganyan. No? Close mo lang. Again, your bottom doesn't have to be uneven because you can always put the cellphone on top of it. Okay? So yan. So let's say even nga dalawa lang okay lang yan Then dayain nyo na lang. So you can do copy, paste. Hindi. Wait lang. Select the object that you just created, copy, paste. Ganyan. And then adjust it. Ganyan. Right? So let's say ganyan, no? You want to just merge. You just want to create a few parts. Tapos gusto mo lang siya i-duplicate. So copy, paste. It's easy. Well, there's no rule against it. Okay? Then you can merge it. Remember, you can merge it. So using the shape builder tool, we can merge it. Right? You want to cut this, you can cut it. Use a rectangle tool, click drag, no? And then select both the objects. Okay. Use the shape builder tool. Hold down Alt kasi yun yung delete, di ba? Click drag. No? Then stretch it out a bit. Okay. Does it have to be even? No, hindi naman kasi when you put it here, right click, select the cell phone, put it on top ulit para tago siya, 'di ba? Oh, eyedropper here. Oh, 'di ba? So again, it's important that you understand what a tool can do. What's more important is how you analyze how to create the artwork. No, in terms of stacking order, how is it gonna be easier for you? Okay, so yun. All right. Do we have any questions so far?
How
None.
about that? Oh, there's something here. The parang transparent siya. How do you?
This one?
Yeah.
Same then, sister. So what you can do is try to trace it, no? So you can use the pen tool. You can use the pen tool. What's nice about the eyedropper tool is it just it's not limited to colors alone na it tries to copy. But it also copies yung mga effects, opacity, no? So you can create something like this and then use the eyedropper again and then click here, no? So even the opacity is copied po. So you can move this also over here. And then you can just select the cell phone again, move it on top. Kung gusto nyo tago. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Okay. And then here, ganun din. So, you have, if I take a look at this, no, you have one object, two, 3, 4, 5, the entire body, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You have 16 objects that are combined to come up with this. Each shadow, every time you create in Adobe Illustrator, each object can only be assigned a single color. Okay, so if we take a look at this, kaya siya ganon. Yung bawat color na yan is a single object. So there's a total of 16 objects on the on the monster alone. No? To come up with this monster, you have 16 objects. So you'll have to trace this, no, or create a shape. This one you can use the ellipse shape. This one, the easiest way to do this is create an ellipse shape, okay, and then use probably a triangle, no, put it on top, select both, use the shape builder tool, click drag. Ay, mali. Ano pala? Hold down alt para delete. Tada! Hindi mo na kailangan mag-pen tool. Pero you can just use the shape builder tool. Yan. Okay. And then, what else? Yeah. This one, for example, this shadow, no? We'll try this. So you can do this, no? Yung medyo oblong shape, no? Kasi ito parang curved na oblong shape eh. So I'll rotate, no? And then use the direction handle, direct selection, click drag. Tapos you just refine it by adjusting the direction handles. Okay. Yan. And then again, use the eyedropper tool. Okay. Yan. Same then here. You can start with an oblong shape and then try to play around with the points to try and curve it a bit. Rotate. Resize it a bit. Yeah. Click here. Stretch it down para tumaba ng konti. Ayan siya. Again, it takes time. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't be obsessed about getting all the details. But this is a very good practice to be able to apply what we have learned so far plus the pen tool. Yan. Okay.